Okay, I've given you this information before, but make sure you document when you find stuff. Hidden conditions, true hidden conditions. When you start a project, you really don't know if the drywall is got mildew on it behind that cabinet or behind that mirror. You don't know if the floor under the cabinet is rotted out. You don't know if there's termite damage to the framing. And so you need to document that so that when you get to that point, you go, it's obvious we can't just ignore this stuff. It is extra work for you, so make sure you document it, okay? Because how are you going to prove it if you just tear it all out? Usually the clients, they're pretty dialed in, they want it taken out, they want it cleaned up, but they kind of need to know, well, when's this money pit going to hit bottom? So be careful about that. Don't tell them every 5 minutes there's something new you found. Just put it all together and say, okay, here's what we have, and here's some extra work here for the project. There's nothing we can do about it. And okay, we took the wall out, and lo and behold, the soffit was on top of it. You can't really see it, and you don't know, and there's no engineering on some of these projects. So the owner has to decide, do I want another post over here because we're going to have a bench? He said, take all that out and put me a beam across there. Do it right. And that's what I like. Do it right. Again, there's no engineering, but in this case I know that the only structure is itself. The roof rafters, they're going all the way up to that big beam right there. See it? So I'm doing a little engineering myself here because this ain't my first rodeo. Now, one thing we had to do, because we have to have structural support for the soffit, right? And then all the weight we realized was right there on that dude. Bingo! Look at that dude, man. One ledger right there, and it was here hanging by a couple nails. So we fixed that up in a hurry. And meanwhile, we put a beam out here to cover the edge here, because this all just kind of fell off. But I'm here to help you all, people. Put a new post in the corner inside the wall. We took the mirrors off. I showed you this probably, and we found some mildew. It's not mold, but something has gotten moist in there. And I showed the owner, and he says, take it out. I don't want to just act like there's not something there. So we're going to take it out, and in doing so now we'll find the walls, they have no insulation. We can insulate them. So there's a secondary benefit from taking care of business that's been massively water damaged. And well, check with your local microbiologist and see what that is, but I don't think you should be touching it and then picking your nose or anything like that. So yeah, you know, I'll give you the straight scoop here. So a lot of damage, termite damage, water damage, and mold. Fix it, people. Termite damage, extensive, I would say. What, are you going to just leave it there? I know you can't necessarily take every piece out because it's nailed from the stucco side, but you have to at least beef it up, strengthen it, take the studs out, put another plate. And the drywall over here was so bad, just take it all out. It's better for the project. Another surprise, take out the dishwasher, and there's a piece of rotting plywood on top of a cut flooring. So that's a hidden condition. We didn't know that was there. Is it a big deal? No. It's an hour of work. You're going to spend an hour cutting it out, putting some backing, and putting a new piece of plywood in. So you can't go crazy on the change orders because there's a lot of them. But you want to keep track of your 1 hour here, 1 hour there stuff. See, there's actually just a limit to what you can handle. Start getting into this thing and it's just gone. Can't leave it, even though it's fastened from the outside. You know, this is a mess. So you got to take it out and start over. The sill all the way over to here, and then this frame plate for the bay window. It's troubling, I say. Troubling. Termites have been in the plywood too, so if you ever wonder if plywood will deter termites, well, now you know. Basically, they'll eat through it all, like a teenager. So it's critical. Show them what you got here. It's just completely, utterly decimated. Nothing left. You got to come out and rebuild this, resupport this. So that's what we have to do. There's the whole brotherhood right there, man. Right there.
I never see alive so much.
Yeah, look at that. Huge amount. Okay, here's another thing. Your walls, you know, have all the outlets in it, right? Normal looking stuff when the drywall's on. And when you go to mess around with it, look at the box. It just falls out of the wall. Well, that was broken, see? Broken box. And again, nobody knew about it. Now that we've addressed this area for new construction, you got to pay your electrician to get you a new box there. Because maybe your bid said, well, we're going to reuse the existing outlet locations. And then you go to use them and they fall apart. So you better make sure you notate that kind of stuff. Look at this one here. We opened it up and it's janky, man. The word of the day, janky. Somebody put a drywall screw to hold in. Obviously we're going to change the switches. We're getting rid of black, but it's just hanging by a thread. And there is a certain amount of it you know is in the job. But when you start finding 3 or 4 or 5 broken boxes and stuff like that, you know it's going to cost you a little extra from your electrician. Don't hesitate to tell the owner, look, you got some junk in your house, people. We got to clean it out. And they're going to go, how much is that going to cost me? So be easy on the poor people, you know. But at the same time, your subs aren't going to go easy on you. They're going to nail you. Because that's what they came out there to do, is make money. So just be on top of your game. Talk a lot. You know, I talk a lot, but there's no secrets that way. We can discover things. I can say, look, I told you about that when I was here. I mentioned that before. Yeah, I know, yeah. I want you to make the decision. So then you're honest with them, and they can see what's coming up. And then when they see it, they just have to say, okay, please be fair with me on the pricing. And of course, you will be fair, because you're a fair person. But you don't want to pay, you know, $1,000 extra to your electrician, and then out of your profit. That's no fun. Okay, I'm not suggesting that you go looking for trouble, but you need to look at the existing stuff and make sure it's all functioning properly before you wrap it back up. You got your existing drain in the kitchen. Looks pretty normal. You look at it here, and then you go, what's happening here? Oh boy, it's broken. It's got to be fixed. So, a little issue there. Check them all. Check everything, because now's the time to catch it. Okay, get that termite damaged wood out of there and just reframe it. Solid lumber again. It's all you can do. Some of it's going to stay, but we replace a lot of it. And remember, nothing's even fastened. This is just a band-aid. But you can't do anything about it because there's already stucco on the outside, etc., etc. But here you go. And then we, of course, patched in all these holes that were here. Fixed our plumbing. Was broken. Fixed it, because that's what we do. Okay, you've repaired your framing. There it is. And like I told you, you get to insulate because there was none there. So get going with that. Time to rock it.